Саламатсыздарбы, құрметті әріптестер. Hello everyone, dear colleagues. Nazarbayev Intellectual School, г.Атырау Chemistry and Biology, Global Perspective teacher, Аманиязова Барша, Балғабекқызы. From Global Perspectives and Project Work Learning Objectives, Formative Assessments tasks were prepared. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein. So, the first one is the aim of the seminar. The subject program of Global Perspectives and Project Work, Term 3, context was the impact of the Internet, using integrated criterion-based assessment model to prepare formative assessments, tasks, and success criteria. At first, I would like to overview of Term 3. The first one is history of Internet. We talked with our students about the history of Internet, when it was appeared, and second one, Internet usage in the world. Third one is development of the Internet usage in the world, the penetration of Internet usage in the world, and third one was development of the Internet and evolution of Facebook. In this lesson, we showed to our students the movie Facebook, we had a discussion about social networks, and after that, internet addiction, and an example about China. Why we took the China, I can tell you later in our lesson, during the lesson. So, and after that, 24 hours, no internet day. After that, personal reflection, class plus classes data collection, internet in Kazakhstan, comparison internet in North Korea and Switzerland, compared to nominated country, connecting all together and writing an essay. The learning objectives. Learning objectives understand the different influences of perspectives, identify and select evidence relevant to a research question, identify some strengths and weaknesses of alternative perspectives relevant to a research question. Describe how research has influenced a personal perspective. Describe how another point of view has influenced a personal point of view. Gather and record evidence using a primary or secondary research methods. So here you can see the formative assessment sheet that we used in our lesson. It's comparison of the internet in North Korea and Switzerland. Before providing the formative assessment, we asked from our students to prepare in advance. It was kind of home task to search for information about the internet in North Korea and Switzerland. Students prepared, gathered the information about these two countries, and then we divided randomly the students into two groups. The task for them was to prepare the posters about the internet in North Korea and another group about the internet in Switzerland. So here in our formative assessment sheet, you can see we used these learning objectives. The first one is understand the different influences of perspectives. Second one is identify and select evidence relevant to a research question. Identify some strengths and weaknesses of alternative perspectives. The success criteria. The first one, students will achieve if they can explain the relationship between social context and the internet in North Korea and Switzerland. By social context, we meant how supportive or not supportive the government accessing to the internet in these countries. And if they can explain that, they can achieve. And second one is explains the relationship between the geographical context and the internet in North Korea and Switzerland. Students will achieve if they can explain the geographical context. Here they can say to us about how where the North Korea is, that geographically North Korea is isolated country, whereas the Switzerland is one of the developed countries in Europe, surrounded by many European Union countries. And third one is explains the relationship between historical context and the internet in North Korea and Switzerland. And in this part, students will achieve if they can explain historical context of the internet. We meant when in those countries first the internet has appeared, and about the political policy towards the internet, because as we know, North Korea has really strict and high restriction censorship towards the internet, whereas the Switzerland is treated to the internet very freedomly. According to these success criteria, we can access students' knowledge and understanding and communication skills. After that, the second learning objective, we can assess students' research and application and communication skills. Students can achieve if they can identify at least 3 sources with relevant information, show how the use of the information gathered has informed. So as they are going to present the posters, they should present it in a show us in a very relevant way. And the third learning objective is the reflection. Here they should show us their critical thinking and evaluation, identifies a total of 3 strengths and weaknesses for the one perspective of the internet in North Korea and Switzerland. So, as I said above, here you can see the process of students making their posters. One group were given the task to make a poster on North Korea, and another group were given to prepare the poster on Switzerland. Here you can see the students presenting their posters. And I would like to mention that in our school, the GP subject for the first year, and we let to our students to present their work in both languages, in Russian, in Kazakh, and in English. As we work with our co-teachers, team teachers, international teachers, we try to encourage students English and let them to present in both in English or in Kazakh. After making a posters, here is the assessment. So students should assess, or they can assess each other by using stickers. We give to our students stickers, and then using these stickers, students write down to each other feedbacks about others group how they present. After assessing each other, after peer assessment, the students were asked to write down to their GP journal their reflection. The reflection questions, you can see here is the 3 reflection questions. The first one is, what do you think is role of the government with regard to the internet? Second one is, do you agree with the politics of Switzerland or North Korea with regard to the internet? Yes or no? Explain why. And the third one is, if you were president, what changes would you make? After this, we give to our students handouts. We call it SOS Summary. And I can explain to you what is SOS Summary. SOS Summary is an assessment that can be used at any point in a lesson. The teacher presents a statement, asks the student's opinion, whether the student agrees or disagrees with the statement, and asks students to support his or her opinion with evidence. This summary can be used before, during a unit, or end of a unit to assess students' attitudes, beliefs, and knowledge about a topic. So in this case, in our situation, you can see the statement was, do you agree with the internet policy in North Korea? And students were asked to circle one of these versions. If they agree, they circle the first version, I agree. If they not, then I disagree. And then they should to support their opinion with evidence using facts, reasons, examples, etc. After that, we showed this video. It's about internet addiction in China. You can watch this video by using the link below. So why we showed this video to our students? Because firstly, it's a credible source. It's research made by New York Times, and it tells us about internet addiction in China. And you can see, watching this video, how the internet addiction is really important issue nowadays in China. And our students were really impressed by watching this video. And after that, we've had with them class discussion, because one of our learning objectives was to explain to understand the different influences of perspective. So the class discussion questions was like, what was your first impression? Why do you think men are more addicted to the internet? Do you think this problem is only in China? Do you think you have any of the symptoms of the men in this video? Which ones? How do you think you would deal with these symptoms? So I can recommend, and it's really interesting and very instructive video. After watching this, because here in this video, the teenagers mostly in China is getting more addictive or dependent to the internet, and then we decided to provide to our students internet addiction test by Dr. Kimberly Young. Internet addiction test is a reliable and measure of addictive use of internet developed by Dr. Kimberly Young. It consists of 20 items that measures mild, moderate, and severe level of internet addiction. To begin, answer the following questions by using this scale. 0 means does not apply, 1 means rarely, 2 means occasionally, 3 means frequently, 4 means often, 5 means always. The first question is, how often do you find that you stay online longer than you intended? Second one is, how often do you neglect household chores to spend more time online? Question number 3. How often do you prefer spending time online instead of spending time with others? Fourth question. How often do you form new relationship with fellow online users? Fifth, how often do others complain to you about the amount of time you spend online? Question number 6. How often do your grades or schoolwork suffers because of the amount of time you spend online? 7th, how often do you check your email before something else that you need to do? 8th, how often does your school performance or productivity suffer because of the internet? 9th, how often do you become defensive or secretive when anyone asks you what you do online? 10th, how often do you block out disturbing thoughts about your life with soothing thoughts of the internet? 11th, how often do you find yourself anticipating when you will go online again? 12th, how often do you fear that life without the internet would be boring, empty, and joyless? 13. How often do you act annoyed if someone bothers you while you are online? 14th. How often do you lose sleep due to the late night logins? 15th. How often do you feel preoccupied or think about being online? 16th. How often do you say just a few more minutes when online? 17th. How often do you try to cut down or limit the amount of the time you spend online? 18th. How often do you try to hide how long you've been online? 19th. How often do you choose to spend more time online over going out with others? And the final one is, how often do you feel depressed, moody, or nervous when you are offline, which goes away once you are back online? And here, after these questions, student total up the scores for each item. The higher your score, the greater level of addiction is. So if the students will get 20 or 49 points, it means they're average online user. They may surf off web a bit too long at times, but they have control over their usage. But if they have the number of points like 50 or 79, then they're experiencing occasionally or frequent problems because of the internet. They should consider the full impact on their lives. So, and here you can see the logo of No Internet Day. After providing the Dr. Kimberly Young's test addiction, we've decided with our students to provide in our school kind of social experiment. It's a project No Internet Day, and it was held in our school on Monday, 26th of January. The aim of this No Internet Day was to identify for our students, are they dependent or not to the internet? So the students were asked to give their cell phones and not to have access to the internet for one day, starting from the 26th of January on Monday in morning until next day, 27th of January, Tuesday. And this logo is actually for this project, and Monday morning we gave to students the badges like this, and they were asked not to use the internet for one day. So, and here you can see the formative assessments sheet, Here we've covered these learning objectives. Gather and record evidence using a primary or secondary research methods. Describe how research has influenced a personal perspective. Describe how another point of view has influenced a personal point of view. Success criteria. The first skills is research, critical thinking, and communication. Success criteria. So students will achieve if they understand how primary research methods differ from secondary ones. Students know and they are able to describe the types of primary research methods. And students achieve if they use at least one primary research method effectively presents the notes of the gathered data. So here we made the data collection. I can show you. And covering second learning objective, the success criteria is presenting his or her own view on the impact of the internet. Compare his or her own perspective with the conclusions drawn from the No Internet Day. And students achieve this. Here they should describe clearly how their research has influenced their own personal understanding. Students will achieve if they present a personal log summarizing what has been learned about the addiction, dependency, and non-dependency on the internet. Explains how an alternative perspective has influenced their own views relating to the impact of the internet, and clearly describes how they personally responded to the No Internet Day. So here we used different skills: communication, reflection, research. In order to support our students during this day, we give them these handouts. The handouts like this. It's the questions for 24-hour No Internet Day. So after giving to the teachers their cell phones, they receive these handouts. So you must make 5 journal entries for this project. Answer the questions and write 2 or 3 sentences on how you feel. If you cannot go without the internet, you still have to do the questions. You also need to answer the bold questions at the bottom. This is an English version. We've also had Russian and Kazakh for our students. So, not only the students of 11th grade, but also other students from 9th or 10th grade, or some teachers also were really excited and they also participated in this project. So, to the first entry at the start of the project, so the questions is, how do you feel about losing your phone? Do you think you will last all 24 hours? What will you miss the most about not having internet? Will it be easy to go without the internet if you don't have your phone? Second entry is after the student gets their phone back after the school. What was school like without having your phone? Does it feel good to have your phone back, even though you can't use the internet? Will having your phone with you make it more tempting to use internet? The third entry will be at night before bed. How do you feel after going without internet all day? Do you miss it? Have you been making phone calls, text messages instead of internet? The fourth entry will be in the morning, sometime before you start using internet again. How did you sleep? Do you miss the internet yet? Are you excited to get to use it again? Could you do another day without internet? Why or why not? The fifth and last entry should be make after you get to use internet again. How does it feel to get the internet back? What did you do first? What website did you go on? How long were you online for? Did anyone miss you? Did you miss anything important? So, after these questions, after filling these questions, there was class data. The data of each class was shared by using Google Drive. So data questions, these questions we provided for each classes were asked these questions, and here you can see the list of questions. So first, what is your gender? How many hours a day do you use the internet? Did you complete 24 hours? Did you hand your phone to a teacher? How long did you stay off the internet? When you got your phone back at the end of the school day, did you check it? What was the first site you visited after turning the internet back on? What was the hardest time of the day not to have your phone? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very difficult, how difficult was this experiment for you? Was it more or less difficult than you thought? Do you think you spent too much time on the internet? Did these 24 hours change your perspective on this? How long have you had the internet in your life? Did you feel naked without the internet? Do you think you're addicted to the internet? Did you find yourself bored without your phone? Did your parents think this was a good idea? In 10 years, do you think you will use the internet more or less? Do you think the students in Kazakhstan use the internet more or less than other countries? After receiving this class data, our students were asked to make their own analyzing of their class data. So, as I said above, we are providing our lesson in 2 languages. So here you can see the example of students analyzing their data. They write down in both languages, in Russian and in English. And they focused on 2 or 3 most interesting questions to them, and they made their own analysis. They analyzed different classes data. For example, this student chose these 2 questions, like, did you hand your phone to the teacher? And do you think you spent too much time on the internet? Here is another one. What was the first site you visited after turning the internet back on? Or in 10 years, do you think you will use the internet more or less? And here is some pictures of our students during the No Internet Day. We put the students' cell phone in boxes like this. And here you can see the reflection video.
Bir күн ұялы телефонсыз, интернетсіз өмір сүру қалай?
Мен үшін өте оңай болды, себебі мен бұрыннан бері интернетті көп қолданбай жүріп үйренген адамын. Бұл қиындық маған ешқандай қиын әсер берген жоқ.
Болашақта мысалға бір күнге емес, бір демалысқа я бір айға бас тарту керек болса, сен қатысар едің бе?
Әрине, қиналмай-ақ қатысар едім.
Я считаю, что акция была очень хорошо продумана, проведена, так как она отучивает от влияния зависимости к интернету.
Можешь ли ты еще, например, на несколько дней отказаться от сотового?
Да, я могу отказаться еще несколько дней от сотового, так как интернет мне не так сильно важен. И я могу, несмотря на эти сообщения, только я могу просто бегло посмотреть, нет ли очень важных сообщений от родителей.
So, let's continue. Here is the student's reflection. If I have nothing to do, I open my phone, laptop and get on the internet. Sometimes I do not notice how time goes. Internet influence on our life, and that's why school, GP, teachers organized a day without internet to check our addiction. And here is another student's reflection. After finishing this action, we will write our feelings. This reflection has shown me that I'm not addicted, and I'm glad. And I learned that I can do more interesting things. For example, I bring the book, I read to help of the book. I like this and understand that this very helpful for me, for my education. And here other students also reflection. So here is the online safety. It's the different situations, so you can use during your lesson these situations to assess students orally. The situations like this. The first one, because online safety it's really important to be careful whenever you go online. Explain how you would handle each of the situations below. Your friend wants to try out a game website before creating his own account. He asks if he can use your password and promises he will not share it with anyone else. What do? Explain why you made this choice. Second situation, you find out about a story writing contest. In order to enter the contest, you must complete an online form that asks for your first and last names, as well as your home address. What do? Explain why you made this choice. Third situation, you're clicking through a website when an alert pops up with an exciting message. It says, you won $5,000. To claim your prize, you are instructed to click on the alert. What do? Explain why you made this choice. And fourth situation, you receive an email from someone whose name you don't recognize. The subject line reads, "Hi, friend." The email contains an attachment. What do? Explain why you made this choice. And here, also as a feature of the internet, at first we've asked from our students to share with their thoughts, with their opinion, with their prediction, how they see the future of the internet. And they write down to their GP journal their vision for the future. And after that, we show them the video. It was made by Corning company, and it's censored. You can also share or show to your students. It's really another interesting video. The Corning vision for the future. And after this, our students made their reflection video after watching this video, and also they were given the handouts like this. Who does it involve? Affect? Where does it occur? What happens in this video? Other reflection includes why, how, when. So in our subject, starting from the first term, we use this deconstruction web, and each term, for example, in term 3, we put global topic impact of the internet, and we've tried to approach to this global issue from different sides, and try to cover all these sides. So we try to approach, as you can see in our lessons, from science and technology, culture, economics, politics, environment, ethics. So as a conclusion, summing up all the things, throughout term 3, formative assessment was completed using selected learning objectives. These learning objectives were chosen because they give opportunity for students to show their skills, such as knowledge and understanding, communication, application, research, critical thinking, evaluation, and their wider knowledge. Teachers can support the students with achieving or working towards the learning objectives criteria through the success criteria. if you have any questions. So thank you for your attention.